Is the South Africa we live in today the one Umkhonto weSizwe guerrillas fought for? Is the South African government taking care of its military veterans? How should the history of apartheid atrocities be told? And how will MK remember the late Jackie Selebi? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Matola. South Africa's liberation struggle was indeed a challenging period during which many cadres left the comfort of their homes in the fight for political freedom. This year is the 34th anniversary of the Matola raid that took place in Mozambique in January 1981. The Matola raid was amongst the first open act of war by the apartheid government against Mozambique. During the raid, South African commandos attacked houses in Matola where exiled members of the ANC lived, killing 13 people. Today we ask, are the Umkhonto weSizwe veterans given the honor they deserve? My guest today is the Deputy Minister of Defense and Military Veterans, Dr. K.B. Maphatso, is also the leader of Umkhonto weSizwe Military Veterans. Also joining us is an MK veteran, otherwise known as General Peter Dambuza. I'm sure you still use that name even to date, don't you?
Yeah, yes, of course.
Okay, that's fine. DM, welcome to the show. Let's look firstly at the Matola raid itself. As South Africa commemorates the 34th anniversary of that particular raid, what is the South African government, and particularly your department, going to do about it?
Look, there was a process that was started by the Department of Arts and Culture, which is led by Minister Nathi Mthethwa.
Yeah.
And there is I think it's a wall of remembrance that they're doing in Matola.
Okay.
That is going to be unveiled very soon, working together with the Mozambican and government. So as a show of respect to those comrades who fell in Mozambique.
Okay. Now, your department, how would you like the Matola raid to be remembered?
Look, what we have in the Act, we have what is called honoring and memorialization. So we are saying as a department, working together with the Department of Arts and Culture, that the history of Umkhonto weSizwe, including the raid of Matola, has not been told correctly.
Yes.
So as we honor this Matola raid, we need to honor it in a correct way.
Okay.
And telling the story in a very correct way. There is a committee that has been established,
Okay.
which include some of the members of Umkhonto weSizwe who survived the Matola raid.
Okay.
So the committee is there. As time goes on, we will brief you what is going to happen.
General Dambuza, you were around Matola at the time when the commandos attacked. What do you remember?
Oh, yes, of course. My real name is David Malad.
Yes.
I was in Matola. In actual fact, I arrived in Maputo in 1980. We did some activities coming in and out of the country. And then by the time when I went back, that was the end of December 1980. I arrived in Maputo once more. Like I left Mozambique. I was staying in a suburb called Barolopsi. Barolopsi is almost next to Maputo. And then it was my unit, the Northeastern Transvaal Rural, which I was part of the commanding. And then we mixed up with Mbogoto. Mbogoto is the security unit
of the
ANC.
Yes.
Yes, because of accommodation scarcity, I was removed by my senior commanders to go from Barolopsi, and I went to Matola, which is next to Libertad. We were organizing ourselves to start stepping up our own operations according to the plan. On the 31st of January 1981, I was now having my unit next to Liberdade in Matola, no more now in Barlops.
Yes.
My neighboring unit was the unit which was normally called the Terra Nest, which was commanded by Comrade Joslov and Obati. The special ops were not so far away from where we were staying. I think it was a kilo 2 from where we were staying as the Northeastern Transvaal Rural. The battle broke out that evening. I remember very well. The raid started at something past 11. And you know, the comrades who were staying at Terra Nest, they had this tendency of, whilst the others are guarding around the house, they would stand as a group right there at the gate, enjoying the fresh air of Mozambique, discussing how to go forward left and right. A group of them, very young, handsome men. I know them, our Chico, what, and people like that. It erupts. When it erupts, what confuses us most was that the sounds of guns were AKs, you know, and AK does not have the same similarities of the sound like an R5 or an R4, no. But if you don't know the gun, you will think they sound the same. Okay. A man who's trained, he will tell you that is the sound of an AK, that is the sound of an R4 or an R5.
Okay.
That confuses ourselves, all of us, you know, that what's happening here, because the sounds of guns are similar to our guns. It lasted something like from something past 11 until something past 4 or so in the morning. We suffered heavy casualties that day. Heavy. In one day raid, as you were saying, 13 people, 13 comrades were murdered. Well, in the morning, because I'm one of the survivors in that raid, of course, then I went to the nearest house, which was called Terra Nest.
Terra Nest, okay.
Terra Nest, fine. When I arrived in Terra Nest, the first thing I saw was bodies all over the pavement.
Okay, now, I want you to just tell me, how then would you like such a history to be remembered in a democratic South Africa? Only after the break. We're going to take a quick break. When you return, please just take us through that. This question time, please don't go away.
Hi people, we are getting there, and thanks to you, Pati is set to become our country's 12th official language. Here's today's word. Substitute. Replacing a drinking buddy with somebody more fun.
That has gone out of the ballpark.
That's more like it.
Help make Pati South Africa's 12th official language. Sign the petition today.
I've got a credit card.
Cameroon's economic capital, a unique art collection is on display. Titled Yesterday's Memory, Tomorrow's Memory.
We are trying to preserve this heritage despite many things that have changed in the designing, embroidery and the model.
If I'm telling you, you don't like it, I call it defeat.
Join Musam Khalipi on Afro Showbiz every Saturday at 19:30 CAT.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today, the Deputy Minister of Defense and Military Veterans, Ndati Kebim Patso, is also the leader of MKMVA, and General Peter Dambuza. How would you like such atrocities to be remembered in a democratic South Africa?
My liking will be, if it is possible, with the minister here.
Yes.
All the names of those comrades who fall that day, on the 31st of January 1981.
Yes.
In the wall which he's talking about, the list of those young comrades must be made available.
I'm sure that should be a given.
That's the situation. And then, mind you, a bigger group of those who fall in Matola were members of June 16, because we have just completed our training, and then now we're going to the front areas. Again, I would like to suggest, if it is possible, that in the National Museum, a smaller state with the names of those comrades who fall in Matola can also be made, because you see, up to now, even myself, it's very difficult to forget the faces of those young comrades, who were my comrades, my friends, you understand?
Okay, hold it there. Minister, you listen to the story here. You yourself are a veteran of MK. Certainly, there must be a lot of your comrades like him who went through this type of experiences. Are you in any way assisting them to reintegrate them back into society?
Mpo, it is not only the Matola rate that we are dealing with.
Yeah.
You also have your Maseru rate.
Yes.
Which we are dealing with. We have the rates in Botswana. We had the rates in Swaziland. So we are dealing with those cases. But indeed, we are accepting as a department, as also as military veterans, that coming back from exile, members of Umkhonto Wesizwe were not properly integrated into society. And this is the issue that we had for the past 20 years. And the department, it's now having a program that we call post-traumatic stress disorder that we are dealing with in counseling some of our comrades. But what I've observed, because I'm with them,
yes,
is that much as they need counseling, but if economically our comrades are not empowered, it is difficult to reintegrate them back into the society and deal with the issues of counseling. I have dealt with comrades with serious problems, but once they got employment, they changed their behavior automatically. So it says something that's not only about counseling.
Yeah.
So counseling needs to go with how you empower our comrades, especially your Lutuli detachments and your June 16 detachment, because these are people who are the first and second generations of Umkhonto Wesizwe who are getting old. I belong to the young generation, but we must make sure that we assist them because they are very old. So there is a program making sure that we are assisting them.
Okay. Now, General, have you forgiven the apartheid government generals and operatives?
Well, there is a organizational discipline and a personal feeling of an individual like myself. I might have an opinion that some of these things were done deliberately by individual young soldiers of the former Defense Force. Yes, of course, we can forgive each other, but it will always be difficult to forget. Like what I'm telling you, right in my face here, I can still see the pictures of those young comrades who were killed that day.
Okay, now, having said what you've said, difficulties forgetting, but you're saying forgiving, yes, it will be possible, right? Now, it's not like you didn't kill people yourself. Do you expect those that you killed, do you expect their families to forgive you?
Yeah, with us there was a purpose, you know.
Oh, well, they also had a purpose
no,
to defend apartheid.
They had no purpose at all.
They were defending apartheid.
They were defending apartheid. If that was the purpose, it was a very silly move which was made by the apartheid government. Ourselves, we were politically committed. If the apartheid government could have listened to the politics of the ANC since 1912, 1948, the picking up of weapons was not going to be necessary. In 1961, I was a young boy. I think I was 9 years old when the cent and the pound was getting out of the market, and they were bringing, in our words, they were taking over power.
Yes.
Taking over power to suppress. Their aim was only to suppress a black man.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Do you expect to be forgiven?
Myself?
Yes.
Well, the cause which I was defending, together with others, was a genuine cause. Mind you, I was not born in a family and taught how to kill people.
No, but
and
you,
then
no.
I was born in a family like a child. With the parents who said, don't steal, don't kill, things like that.
Fine. Mm-hmm. But you're trying to run away from my question, and I'm not going to allow you to do that.
Okay.
Don't use your tricks, your MK tricks on me. Do you forgive, or rather, do you want to be forgiven by those whose relatives you killed in Northern Transvaal? In Mutale, the ones that you killed in the Kruger National Park, the ones that you killed in Mozambique?
No, mind you, we were not committing criminal activities. In defense of our people, we have to respond.
Okay.
Yeah, in defense
so what's
of people.
your answer to my question?
Mm-hmm. The question is?
The same one. Do you expect to be forgiven?
In actual fact, are you asking me, do I feel guilty of what I did?
Yes.
No, I don't feel guilty.
Okay.
I don't feel guilty at all. So if I don't feel guilty, why do I have to think someone must forgive me? You are sitting where you are sitting because some of us contributed for you to sit in that seat where you are.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you regard F.W. de Klerk as a liberator who deserves a street to be named after him in Cape Town?
No. I doubt, no. He was part of the machinery which was killing our people. And quickly when he was in the office, he then reconciled with himself first, and then be able to release our leaders. And then be able to say, hey, let's talk. And talk. And then the government was formed.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So you don't think he deserves a street to be named after him?
Well, if you want, I don't understand the reason. What would be the motivation?
Well, I'm sure they would explain it better in Cape Town. Deputy Minister, when we return, I want us to look at some of the projects that you're doing in the department. This is question time. Please don't go away.
Technology is all around us and is improving lives across Africa, like how young Nigerians are connecting to the internet. There are doctors finding new ways to save lives in Cameroon, and the South African public transport system that is now getting Wi-Fi. We have gadgets, apps and loads more, some of which play a big role in Africa's growth. A huge part of this African growth is technological innovation. To find out a bit more about social media and technology news from here in Africa and abroad, join me, Phumelele Zondi, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC News.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today, the Deputy Minister of Defense and Military Veterans, Dr. KB Mapatswe, and also the MK veteran, Peter Dambuza, joins us in studio. Now, DM, let's look at, as we wrap up the program here, you have a lot of cadres from the various generations of MK. Amongst them, Jackie Silebi, who just passed on. How would you like Jackie Silebi to be remembered?
You know, Jackie Silebi is one of the tried and tested leaders of the African National Congress. and a former member of Umkhonto weSizwe. Whatever happened, we stood behind the late comrade Jackie Selebi. He should be honored like a hero of our struggle, and he should be afforded a dignified funeral. And as part of the department being part of the preparatory committee and the MKMVA, would want really South Africans to respect the contribution made by the late comrade Jackie Selebi. I mean, the history tells you that he played a very important role, effectively, including in the United Nations and back inside the country. So what happened to him, it's history. But we must say that, when we came into power, we used what we call the sunset clause.
Yes.
And which really compromised some of the things that we're supposed to not be dealing with today, if we're very straight. But we have challenges that enemy agents infiltrated our own institutions, including putting them into ambushes, like Comrade Jackie. It was an ambush.
How so?
How so is that he was working with a corrupt person, and Comrade Jackie was never corrupt. But it is because if they want to deal with an individual, the enemy will make sure that they use everything at their disposal, including how they dealt with Comrade Jackie. And we really don't, as MKMVA,
yes,
really feel very strong that Comrade Jackie was dealt with not correctly. A part is history, but we will honor his contribution, and we say may his soul rest in peace.
Now, something that emerged just after his passing on is that obviously Glenn Aglioti's name then, started re-emerging. And I've spoken to Glenn on this show before, and I know, his views regarding Jackie Selebi and what led him to do what he did. Coincidentally, with all this looting that has been happening of foreign-owned shops and all that, people then wanted to start questioning the origins of the Agliotis, which obviously is not South African. Do I get a sense that the veterans of the ANC's MK are now perhaps bordering their arguments on xenophobia as well?
No, we're not xenophobic as an association. We respect foreigners, and we treat them like any other person, any human being. And we really don't encourage xenophobia.
Yes.
We don't like it. But people must also come legally here in South Africa.
Okay.
And behave in a correct manner. You can't have people whom you cannot trace just doing as they wish in the townships. You arrest them today, they get bail, you can't trace them anyway, because they are not in the system. They shoot our people with unlicensed firearms. So for security, I think it's a threat.
Okay.
Because if people have got unlicensed firearms here, you don't know how many are they having. The last time it was in the Western Cape with a rifle.
Yes.
So it tells you that the ANC government need to take this thing of foreigners very serious.
Okay. By the way, actually, a very funny one. I'm not so sure if you are so clean yourself when it comes to issues of accusations or labeling. I'm sure you would remember Professor Shadrach Guto's incident. What was the story there?
No. I still stand by my words. Is that you see, people who are coming here as foreigners to do business, as long as they follow correct channels, we welcome them. They must do business. If they want to study, they come here as tourists, they come. But you can't have a person who ran away from his country, from Kenya. And he went to Zimbabwe, he was chased away from Zimbabwe, he came to South Africa, he found a democracy in South Africa. Now he is fighting against a government that is based on the will of the people and interpreting the constitution the way he wants. Here it is South Africa. He must interpret the constitution correctly. He must be patriotic to our people. So we can't keep quiet as South Africans when people, they've got another agenda against the African National Congress government. So we will expose such characters. If Shadrach Guto will continue criticizing the government of the ANC, wrongfully so, we will criticize him. That's not xenophobia.
Okay.